Hello again. Let's talk today about taking your Google form, giving it some superpowers, and making it a quiz. So I'm going to start in Drive. I'm going to make myself a new form. I'm going to call it quiz example. Perfect. Okay, and in the gear in the top right beside the send button, I'm going to go in there, and on the third tab, I'm going to click quizzes, and I'm going to make this a quiz. I'm going to leave it right now as immediately grade after each submission, and we're going to come back to this. At the bottom, you have some control over what respondents can see, but we're going to leave that all turned on for now. So, question number 1. Let's say I was teaching government, and I wanted to know if the students knew the Prime Minister of Canada. So, who is the Prime Minister of Canada? And let's make this an open response short answer, where they have to put in the answer. We can make it required or not. That's up to you whether or not you want it to be forced that they have to put something in. Right now, I'm going to leave it as open. I'm going to go to the answer key. So now there's another view of this question. I'm going to say it's worth 1 point. And the correct answer is Trudeau. Everything else is incorrect. You can also add answer feedback. So Justin Trudeau is the There we go. There's the feedback. You can even link to a website or a video with your explanations. Okay, so at its simplest form, there's my quiz. I'm going to click on the I, and I'm going to test it out here. So, who's the Prime Minister of Canada? I know that. It's easy. It's Trudeau. Submit. So then it brings me to this page that says your response has been recorded. View the score. All right. Let's see my perfect score for getting Trudeau right. Oh, what's that? I got it wrong? But I put in Trudeau, and the answer's Trudeau. All I'm missing is a capital T. That's right. Google cares about that capital T. So this gives me the feedback on what I did, gives me the correct answer, and then shows me the descriptive feedback. The problem here is when it's looking for correct answers, it's looking for exactly this string of characters, which means capitals count, which means if you put in an extra space here by mistake, students would have to put in an extra space. You can put in different options. Whoops. So this would catch capital or no capital, but it's possible that students put in a first name. So you'd have to put this in as well. Then you'd have to do this without the capitals. And then you'd probably, just to be safe, want to put in Trudeau, something like that, right? So you could do it this way, but you have to anticipate every possible spelling mistake, typo, every little error. The way around this is go back to the gear setting and then go to quizzes. And then we're going to turn on later after manual review. Okay, so we've got the same question. We've got lots of options for how the students can answer. We're going to go back to the live form. Here we go. I'm going to answer, I know this. It's Mr. Justin Trudeau. Easy. Now when I submit it, it says your response has been recorded, but it doesn't give me my score because we turned on review and then release scores. So let me close all these windows to clean up my tabs a little bit. And I go to responses. And I'm going to go to individual responses. Here's the first one, which Google actually now goes back to mark correct because I put in more options. But I'm going to go to response 2. Who is the Prime Minister of Canada? my answer was Mr. Justin Trudeau, which is correct, but it wasn't on the list. So I can change that by giving the student a point for it and clicking save. And then Google will say, oh, that's correct now. So they got points for that even though this wasn't on the list. Then I can release the score to the students. So all respondents, I'm the only one who's there, send emails and release. And then once the scores are released, I can go find my response in my email. So I've opened up the email here. This says score release quiz example. I'm going to click view. And this is going to be the same form submission page that I saw before, but I've just got to go a long way to get it. So there we go. So now it says it's correct, even though it says this was wrong, because it shows me what all the correct answer options were. So with all that being said, here's what I'm going to suggest to you. I think in this time of Learn at Home, this Google form quiz is going to be most useful if kids get immediate feedback. So to give immediate feedback and be sure that students get credit for their thinking and not for their spelling, we're going to change the format of the question. So I'm going to go back to the question. I'm going to click done here to close this view. And I'm going to change it from short answer to multiple choice. So now my options will be Justin Trudeau, Stephen Harper, Doug Ford, and Elizabeth May. So those are your choices. So now when I go to the answer key, now I can click on the right answer. It's going to have a check mark beside it. And I can once again click add answer feedback and give a description, and you can differentiate this between incorrect answers and correct answers. Usually I don't put any additional feedback in correct answers. So I might say Trudeau is, and then Harper was the Prime Minister, Ford is the Premier of Ontario, May is the leader of the Green Party, right? So you might put all that in, save. There we go. What I want you to notice here is that I can select multiple correct answers. So you can have a multiple choice where students have to pick from a list and there are multiple correct answers. So the other thing I'm going to do now that I've made this multiple choice, I'm going to go back to settings and I'm going to go back to quizzes and I'm going to leave it at immediately after each submission. So that way, students will get their scores immediately when they're done the quiz. The other thing I'm going to do is in general, I'm going to make sure collect email responses is turned on. Because then you don't have to stress about students putting in their name. When they log in from Classroom, they'll be logged in under their account, and this will collect that email address, and you'll be fine. Okay? So there's my quiz. So let's fill it out for a third time. Click preview. Now I have multiple choice. Who's the Prime Minister of Canada? It is Justin Trudeau. Click submit. It says your response has been submitted. Yes, I would like to view my score. Finally, after all those times, I got the answer right. So you can make your form out to have as many questions as you want. Note that the questions now have two views, sorry. This view is the view to edit the question. And then when you click answer key, it gives you the view to give it points, to mark the correct answer, and to give feedback. So now there's sort of two places you have to go to each question, and depending on the view, it will look a little differently. This does show me, though, with a check mark, what the correct answer is for this one. So you make your form, and then when it's done, if you go to responses, and I'm still at individual, here's the third one I filled out, it shows me total points, and then it will show you individual. Google will also break it down by questions. Now in this place I only have one question, but in the summary tab, you can break it down by who got what score and break it down by questions as well. You can look at who answered what response. So there's lots of ways that it will pull apart the data for you. So if you're doing a quiz where you're looking at geography concepts and there's one that's especially challenging, you'll be able to see on this page the breakdown of, oh, that question, nobody understands the difference between sedimentary rock and any other type of rock. So I got to go back and do some support on that. Okay, we can still, in responses here, send this to a form. I'm going to save talking about forms for another video. We're going to talk about how to organize things. But for now, that's a quick look at how to make a quiz or how to make a form into a quiz. When you want to share it with students, you can just click the preview. You can grab this URL up here by clicking on it once and copy it, and then paste it as an announcement in Classroom and give them a link. Or here I am back in my classroom. I'm going to click Create and then Quiz Assignment. And Google is going to make one for me. And I can just click on this and make my quiz right here. And then it's tied into the assignment. The other way that I would do it is I would add link. And I would just put in the link here. And so there's the link to my existing form that's essentially doing the same thing. So that's a quick look at taking a Google form and turning it into a quiz so that students get more immediate feedback. Let me know how that goes. Don't hesitate to shoot me any questions. And I hope you're having a wonderful day.